All right, Brent. So one area that we talk about in discipleship is this idea that we need to have a shared mind and love with God. We need to have a mind and love with God,
Yes.
and we need to be able to share that, which so often kind of
Yeah.
goes against our cultural defaults, right? Where
Mhm.
we oftentimes don't have that much of a mind in love with God so easily. We have so many distractions in our world that
Yes.
we fill our mind with so many other things. We forget to even include, let alone let the gospel of God saturate our hearts and minds. But from there, like, why is it important to share it? And in a world that says, kind of keep it to yourself, and even though we don't agree with that, we kind of find our lifestyles sort of emulating that more naturally.
Yeah.
Like, how do we do that? Why is that important in discipleship with people?
Yeah. I think about C.S. Lewis, who uses the example, if you're hiking and you see this majestic view of these mountains, as we often experience here in Colorado, and you're with a group of friends and they have zero interest in what you're viewing, but inside of you, you're just freaking out because you can't stand how incredibly beautiful it is.
Yeah.
And you want to just share that. I think there's just like this natural longing to say, guys, look at this view. Look at what we're looking at. This is incredible.
Right.
And everyone else is, oh yeah, I've seen it before. I live in Colorado.
Yeah, right.
How discouraging that is.
Right.
You want to be able to share what you love. I think we naturally do that with anything that we love.
Yeah.
What you love, you think about.
Yeah.
And what you think about, if you love it, you want to share it.
Yeah.
I think there's that desire there. I think there can be barriers to sharing it because culturally it may seem awkward or unacceptable in certain realms of our lives. But I think this conviction, as we grab hold of it and you work it out more and more, you start to realize that sharing your mind in love with God, one, it helps you to complete the praise that you have for God.
Right.
But two, it also stirs that love and affection for God and others.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it reinforces the reality even to yourself.
Yeah.
As it's sharing it with the other people. I think a couple practical things just to think about and practical steps that are natural if we're intentional about is just when you're with people that you think are also pursuing that same ambition in their own faith, is just to say, like, we often just say, like, what you got.
Yeah.
Right. Like, it's just as simple as that. Like, we're just together. And this is, again, why finding space where we're inviting maybe the guys or gals that we're trying to disciple into our brotherhood and our sisterhood.
Yeah.
Because it's in that space that we have so much more capacity to model this.
Yes.
Where maybe they're not quite there yet.
Yes.
Although once they start to kind of take steps there, man, we want to celebrate that. But especially in those early seasons, to say, get them into that community with you. But don't just let that time go by the wayside. But take advantage of saying, hey, what you got? Have love and laughter, have relaxed love relationship. Let things just kind of flow.
Yeah.
But if Jesus is at the heart of your life, don't hide that, but let that out.
Definitely. And it can be, I've heard it compared to learning a new language. If you are immersed in a foreign culture, we lived in Russia.
Yeah, right.
You remember, the best way to learn is to overhear the language.
Yeah.
And it's like that. When we share our mind in love with God, it sounds a bit foreign to someone who doesn't have a mind in love with God.
Yeah.
If they're not coming from that background or have no thoughts about God, it sounds strange.
Right.
But like learning a new language, the more they're immersed in it, in the culture of it, as say we as believers are doing it in front of them, they will begin to actually speak it and think it pick it up.
It's good. So a practical challenge this week is every time you're with a Christian brother or sister, just ask what you got and learn to go there, and it also keeps you accountable in a healthy way to say, like, man, I've got to have something when that question comes to me
you want to have
as well.
something good to share.
Amen.